About normalized versus not normalized decks with playing the Enlightened Tutor package. The fact that Fernando actually has a Haymaker to go get with Enlightened Tutor in Blood Moon changes that perception around quite a bit.
Yep.
It's not easy for Bronson to break up, if Fernando has to assemble A plus B, Bronson, it's much easier to break that up with a counter spell or removal spell, what have you. When Fernando actually has a one-card win, or effective win in a lot of spots, to go get it with Enlightened Tutor makes the matchup much better for him.
So we're going to see a little bit of posturing here. Fernando is going to sacrifice his Flooded Strand. Bronson says, I like to sacrifice mine in response. The answer is yes, so no stifle there. And of course, we have access to the deck list, so we know there will be no stifles in this match as Bronson's going to search out an Underground Sea. Or is he? Maybe he wants a different color mana. Maybe it's time for a Tundra instead. But it is a very beautiful Flooded Strand that he sacrificed here. I'll give him that.
A little Judge Foil.
All right, so he's going to go with the Scrub land. Trying to guess what Esper Deathblade is going to search for with its lands is a fruitless endeavor.
Well, you need one black, one white, and double blue.
And a green sometimes for your Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, fringe cases you need a green, but you want to be able to cast Jace, and then you have single white and single black spells.
So Romney's going to get a Tundra, and he is going to play a spell. Which one's it going to be? It's going to be Counterbalance. See if we're going to fight over this. Now, this can obviously cause a lot of trouble here, because even though there isn't a top in play, your spell could just get countered.
There's also Brainstorms in Fernando's deck, of course, and Ponder, so he doesn't actually need to have Sensei's Divining Top in play to extract tremendous value out of Counterbalance.
So Magnan has drawn a card. I believe it was a Thoughtseize that he drew for the turn. He's going to play a Tundra. We'll see if he's got a spell to play this turn or not.
He also has True Name Nemesis in his hand, it looks like, as well.
Might be a good time to try to go for that, potentially. He's going to lead off with a Vindicate. See what that's going to target. Reveal. Oh, it's not going to matter what it targets. The Tension Sphere revealed to Counterbalance. And hey, that's the swings of Counterbalance right there. That's something that can just happen. And trust me, it is frustrating.
Welcome to the camera, Fernando.
Yeah, and now there's a Rest in Peace. Now the graveyards are going bye-bye. So Deathrite Shaman is not going to be so good. As Magnan's going to draw, we know Detention Sphere is in Romney's hand. Top of his deck is a Mystery. Here's a Marsh Flats, the follow-up. You're going to try to slide in that True Name. You're going to lead off with a Thoughtseize.
So,
reveal. That is I think that was either a Batter Skull or a land.
I believe that was a Flooded Strand.
Okay.
Still good for Fernando. He didn't blind counter there, but he does need a third land. So now we'll see if he actually wants to counter this Thoughtseize.
It looks like the answer is yes. Jace the Mind Sculptor, a foil one, mind you, is going to be revealed. Is going to be removed to Force of Will.
So really fighting aggressively over this Thoughtseize here.
It's not every day you see a foil Jace the Mind Sculptor on camera.
No. It's a relatively new addition, right? The new not Commander product, but one of those from the vaults.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So now we're going to sacrifice that Marsh Flats. Going to go search for a land. Will Magnan.
And Magnan has a clear coast now to resolve whatever he wants to resolve, as he knows that there's a land on top from the Counterbalance, so doesn't have to worry about getting blind flipped on again.
It's time to go for True Game Nemesis. There's the 3-1. Loads of fun. See if there's a Forcible hiding out here from Romney. The answer is no, so he's going to untap. He'll take a draw. Flooded Strand is going to go to the grip. So that's going to come into play. Going to sacrifice that.
And I imagine we have something big coming, as Fernando was willing to Force of Will a Thoughtseize, which implies there's something really big in his hand he was trying to protect.
So now it's going to be time to go searching here with that Flooded Strand for a land. You see, we're going to leave the exiled pile face up so you guys can get a good look at it at home. Wants to figure out exactly what land he does want to get. We're going to see what the follow-up is. As you mentioned, he did fight pretty hard over that Thoughtseize to make sure that that did not resolve. So that implies that he's probably holding something that he cares about. And one of those cards was not Jace the Mind Sculptor. He was willing to let that go.
Yeah. Did he perhaps draw the Singleton Blood Moon? He's going and getting a Volcanic right now.
Uh-oh. Could be Energy Field. Could be a lot of sweet stuff here.
Looks like there's a red card there.
All right, Trina Nemesis, let's see how good you are.
All right.
Because
Just me and you.
me and you had 17 points of damage to deal. All right, that land's going to come into play. It's going to tap for red mana, though. As you guys do see Blood Moon on the screen, it's going to have a huge impact on this game. Oh, hello.
All right.
Batter Skull.
Not shabby.
Yeah, reveal the top card. It's an island. All right, all right. So Blood Moon might not be good enough to get the job done. As now the Germ token is in play. There's an island that's going to come directly off the top into play. This might be Jace.
It looks like he has Helm.
Goodness.
What a draw by Fernando thus far.
There it is. Jeez. All these enchantments. Now Helm of Obedience is in play.
Not a bad draw.
And now the Helm Rest in Peace lock is set up.
All right, well.
See, Patrick, it's a combo deck.
Yeah.
That's what's happening here.
Several different combos.
Yeah, there are a lot of enchantments in play. A lot of just big effects in play. You see Helm of Obedience. The short version of all that text is when Rest in Peace is in play and you activate it, it's over. And Magnan is going to concede the game here as Fernando Romney is going to win game number 1 here with his Blue-White Miracles enchantment-esque deck. We just need to get Noble Essence in there. Really show him who the boss is.
Right.
That's what I think.
A humility.
Yeah, oh, oof. Yes. Really put a strain on that judge.
Is there a humility? That's actually not unreasonable.
Well, we can look at the sideboard and find out. I'll start with Romney's over here, and the answer is yes, there is humility.
Nice.
There's also a Moat, a Supreme Verdict, a Serenity.
This deck is gas.
Yeah, I like this deck. 2 more copies of Enlightened Tutor, a Spellskite, a Runed Halo, a Nevermore, an Aethersworn Canonist, 2 copies of Mindbreak Trap, 2 Needles, and that what the?
Is an Emrakul? I assume that's for decks that have some sort of decking strategy.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Painter, Servant, Imperial Painter. I did not expect to see that out there, though. Show and Tell, I suppose.
I doubt it's for going long.
Yeah, you don't think so?
No,
yeah. The 15 mana under Blood Moon plan, you don't think that would work? All right, I mean, I like some of the cards here. Rune Halo, I think, is going to come in and name True Name Nemesis.
Yes.
That's obviously very potent. We can also see, and I don't think Needle's going to do very much. Maybe he wants to board more Enlightened Tutors to ensure that he can always find the enchantment that he's looking for or be able to find the Helm. Humility might be pretty good. Also, Moat is pretty nice in this matchup as well. So, all right.
There's definitely some more enchantments in here. It's unclear if he's going to bring in Moat, as there's a risk of cards like Vendilion Click still being able to attack. He only really needs 1 threat backed up by equipment to threaten a lot of damage. It's possible, I'm actually certain that Humility is going to come in. Not positive the Moat is.
Likewise.
Even though Moat happens to be very good against Bronson's build. On Bronson's side of the table, we have a Path, a Sword, a Swan Song, 2 Vendilion Clicks, a Thoughtseize, 2 Surgicals, 2 Zealous Persecutions, 2 Supreme Verdicts, a Pierce, a Flusterstorm, and a Marinki Gusari. I would imagine the 2 Vendilion Clicks and the Thoughtseize are coming in at the minimum.
I could see that happening, yeah.
The Swan Song seems good.
I mean, against this deck,
Yeah.
yeah. After all those enchantments that were cast that game, I like to assume that he can beat the 2/2 bird that is made from Swan Song. I mean, there's no guarantee, but with all the cards that were cast that game, a lot of them were enchantments. Yeah, I would want to. I would want a Swan Song.
This is, it's not fair really to look this far ahead. But if this match ended with Fernando killing Bronson with a Swan Song token while Bronson was locked under Moat, I would be incredibly happy.
That's what you want?
That would be I would be incredibly happy.
We got to give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Got to.
Just Swan Song beatdowns while Moat locks down all of Bronson's forces.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets a cut. Bronson, he gets to improve his deck pretty substantially here in the post-board games. He gets a cut. A lot of his creature removal that's obviously not very good, the 4 plows, and gets to bring in clicks and Thoughtseizes, an extra permission if he wants it. So, you see this a lot with Esper Blade decks where they have some inefficient cards in nearly every matchup game 1, and then their sideboard is filled with a lot of 1 and 2 ofs to be able to remove the inefficient cards and transform into a much more streamlined, precise control deck for the matchup.
Well, if you guys are just joining us, I think you stopped by at a good time. Hopefully you didn't miss game number 1. Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan, Star City Games Open Series here in Orlando, Florida. At SCG Live, hashtag SCGORL for your tweets. How do we feel about the Helm Rest in Peace combo there? I dig it.
If I was in Bronson's seat, I would be. That game 1 is just insane. Turn 2 counterbalance, blind reveal on Vindicate. Turn 3, Rest in Peace, lock down a lot of your. You have both Snapcaster Mage and Deathrite Shaman, so that's pretty bad.
Okay.
Turn 3, Blood Moon, I'm locked. Fortunately, I've drawn my batter skull, so it still looks like I got a little bit left in the
Definitely
game.
give it the sliver of hope.
Yeah, I have a true. I've already stuck in a true name nemesis. I have the batter skull. I've drawn a 5th land.
Yeah.
I actually have him dead in 2 turns, and then natural helm. No enlightened tutors needed to cobble this all together.
Yep.
Just happened.
Yeah, I have helm. You are dead. That's what's happening here.
That's often, when your opponent's playing a control deck, obviously not really a combo deck, like Fernando is playing, and they're willing to force a willy or early Thoughtseize. 2 things are going through your head. It's either this person's really bad or I'm in a ton of trouble. And it turns out that it was the second one.
It was the latter.
Yeah,
it was the latter.
Yeah.
I am in a world of trouble.
Yeah.
See, Bronson's going to go through, make sure he's got 15 cards in his sideboard here. All those, swords and zealous persecutions and things that you try to use to win these creature matchups. You've come to the wrong place.
Right.
My only creatures entreat the angels. You can't kill them all.
And I'm sure sideboarding here is pretty complicated for Fernando, as he has an enlightened tutor package in his deck as well. So getting the right bullets in there and the right mixture of control cards takes a while to sideboard.
What do we want in? What do we want out? How many enlightened tutors do we want to have? Do we even want these counter spells? Again, he does have a single counter spell. He has 4 forceful and he has 2 copies of Daze, which kind of seem obscure in a deck like this, but I'd be willing to bet that he's caught some people off guard with that one.
Well, Fernando's deck probably plays like a combo deck in a lot of matchups. When he's playing against really linear strategies or just creature decks, he's all about assembling whatever his lock is, Divining Top, Counterbalance in some matchups, or Rest in Peace Helm in other matchups. And Daze helps him push through what he's doing.
Yeah.
So in this matchup, it's kind of just 2 control decks going at it. Fernando has some 2-card combos where he's trying to win the game. Bronson's trying to play kind of a normal Magic game.
Yep.
But I'm sure there's plenty of matches where Fernando is just assembling a combo with his tutors. And Daze fits really naturally into those games.
Well, we're going to work our way into game number 2 here. Magnan's going to be on the play. We'll see what he can find. Try to fend off the old enchantment combo. Whenever I think of a bunch of enchantments, I always think of Replenish, but that was a little bit before my time.
I played a lot of, it wasn't called FNM at the time, but Friday Night Magic when Replenish was the deck.
It was like the best deck then, right, I think?
Yes, it was.
It was like very good, okay. We'll start with a Sensei's Divining Top here for Romney, as Bronson just does have a Tundra. He'll add to that momentarily, but he's going to start off with a Brainstorm. That's a good place to start. The FNM Brainstorm. That's actually my favorite one. A lot of people are partial to the Ice Age artwork. It's not for me.
I usually like to play the oldest version of cards available, but I think the art on the Ice Age Brainstorm is so bad that it's the one exception to the rule for me.
Okay.
I usually get the Mercadian Mask Brainstorms.
I can feel the tweets coming right now,
Yeah.
by the way. Because everyone loves the Ice Age Brainstorm art, so you're about to get it.
Oh, no, I understand. It takes a lot for there to be that big of a discrepancy in art where I'm willing to play not the oldest version.
We'll see a top activation here in Romney's upkeep after Magnan did resolve his Brainstorm, plays a Flooded Strand, so it'll be a perfect Brainstorm here for the Esper Deathbait player. But we'll see what Romney can put together on his second turn. Might just be looking for a land at this point.
Just clarifying that he was wanting to just shortcut into his draw there, just clarifying what's happening.
There's a Flooded Strand, and going to pass the turn back over to Magnan. Magnan will sacrifice Flooded Strand on the end step. Going to go down to 19.
And it looks as though Fernando also has Counterbalance in hand already, so he's got quite a good draw
Setting him up.
thus far again.
An Underground Sea will be the land of choice here for Magnan. And after the deck is presented back to him, he'll take a draw. And we'll see what he can put together. You see Stoneforge being brought to the forefront of his hand immediately.
And Bronson drew a Spell Pierce this turn, which is pretty close to the perfect draw as it allows him to play Stoneforge and protect himself against cards like Counterbalance or Blood Moon out of Fernando next turn.
Yeah, it was a really, really good draw. Might see a Force of Will? Nope. He says, that's fine. You can have your Stoneforge, no big deal. So Stoneforge, what are you going to get?
Probably Sword of Fire and Ice, I would guess.
You nailed it. A Modern Masters Edition. Way better artwork than the previous one. I just love that one.
Yeah, and for me, Modern Masters is too new to play with, you know what I mean? It's all just a sense of taste. I don't know. I'm not saying anything's right or wrong.
You're just an old school purist. You like a black coffee. I like, some sugary drink from
Kool-Aid
Starbucks.
or whatever.
Absolutely. I mean, Kool-Aid is a fantastic treat.
Some tang.
Yes. Here is a sacrifice on the flooded strand. To be fair, no one likes Tang.
No one likes that.
How could you do that?
And keep in mind, even in the post-board games here, Bronson does not have an out to a resolved Blood Moon, except what he already has on the board.
Yes.
That's it.
That's
again, so.
the move. That's all you've got. So there's a basic. Might be trying to set up the Blood Moon by getting basics here. Double Islands means that under Blood Moon he can cast Jace, which may be important in this situation. But looks like he might just be going for the old counterbalance here. Yep, there's your blue. There's your CB.
I assume this is going to be worth spell piercing.
This is definitely worth fighting over. So here's a spell pierce. This is one of the situations where the old days in Romney's deck would actually be quite good. You're going to sacrifice this. So let's see what he's going to go try to find.
Maybe spinning his top in response, trying to find a daze. Maybe he has Force of Will in hand, trying to find another blue card it corresponds to. So,
Well, Tundra's the choice. And we're going to spin. Yeah, looking for a Force Will or daze. Really, really wants this balance to resolve, and understandably so. All right, looks like we found what we're looking for. Yeah, so the top, yeah, no, so he draws a card. Just wants to make sure his mechanics are correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so now Forcible removing Jace is going to counter the spell pierce.
You are in the room.
And Bronson wants to make sure that that card is face up, so I know what's exiled. I believe Bronson is a judge. And you can certainly tell with how how the game is being played.
Wasteland, the draw for Bronson, also excellent here.
Yeah, now there's a Jace, and that's also excellent. And so he's going to Fate Seal. He's going to Fate Seal the top, and he's going to put that right to the bottom. Jace is going to have 5 counter. Stoneforge is going to come into the red zone. And as we do get the large die out there for the Jace, so you guys can see that it's a 5, Romney's going to untap. He'll take a draw step. Caracas, one of the fun lands he does have in his deck. Now remember, he did remove a Jace to the Force Will, so it's unlikely that he'll have another one right now. But he's going to need to have to get something because he doesn't have his top anymore either. And so this is a rest in peace. So graveyards are going to go away.
And keep in mind, for as well as this is going for Bronson right now, he can still just kind of randomly get locked out of the game.
He can just get comboed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can just happen. Now, Jace will try to stop that from happening, of course. But there's no guarantee of that. This is actually kind of funny. For as long as I've been covering Legacy, I haven't really got to see, the Jace Fate Seal you, make sure the top of your deck doesn't correspond to what I'm trying to do with my counterbalance, and then resolve my spell. I've really never ever seen that interaction happen.
Right.
Which is kind of strange. You think that would happen a bunch by now. Blood Moon is going to be the top card here. Maybe that's a good one to put on the bottom. Who knows?
Well, Fernando appears to be without red, so.
Yeah. And, maybe he's got another land in his hand where he can search out a red.
Of course, it's still very risky to let him have Blood Moon.
Yeah. He has another hand in his land, he can search out a red, or, this could be a situation where Bronson doesn't even care about Blood Moon because he has Sword in his hand already. He's got a Jace in play, so it could be a situation where it's just like, that's fine. Blood Moon's no good this game.
And it's possible his primary concern is keeping Fernando actually off of Helm of Obedience.
Yeah.
Because he can kind of win with what's in play right now.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if he uses Stoneforge to get the sword in place. So, the sword plus Jace is enough to win even if Fernando Blood Moon locks him.
So what's the plan here for Mr. Magnan? Is he going to fire off a Wasteland, use that? Looks like he has to use Wasteland for mana. Or not. We're going to start with the best Planeswalker of all time. Blood Moon to the bottom. Does this mean he needs to resolve a 3-mana spell? I think it's time to resolve that sword now. So 1, 2. I guess, is it worth casting the sword? I can't imagine that it is. So he's going to cast a 2-mana, so he's going to cast a Stoneforge Mystic Counterbalance Trigger, Volcanic Island. So he's got his red source now.
Yep.
But Blood Moon is on the bottom of his deck, Volcanic Island on the top. Magnan's going to go search out any equipment. You saw him stop at the Umazawa's Cheat Day, but it looks like he's going to keep going and find the Batter Skull.
But, you know, Bronson's shields are somewhat down here unless he uses the Wasteland, where land plus Helm could kill him.
Yes. Now, he knows there's a land on top of his opponent's deck, but he doesn't know the cards in Romney's hand, so Romney's going to quickly draw that Volcanic Island.
Here's his hand is Moat, I saw.
There's an island, so he's still got the Volcanic in his hand. This is 4 mana. And this is a Helm. This is exactly what you said could happen.
And
this is the one of Helm in his deck.
Hooray!
Where Magnan could have wastelanded him to keep him off of it for another turn.
He wanted to sneak in his sword.
Yeah, and Bronson, with his hand, he just goes, yeah, that's in. He says, Helm you, and that is going to do it. So Fernando Romney is going to combo out Bronson Magnan 2 games in a row. Helm of Obedience plus Rest in Peace gets the job done, and Blue-White Miracles with a whole lot of enchantments moves on to 3-0.